In the nascent, yet burgeoning, community of Helena, Montana, the year 1887 bore witness to a startling event that rattled the very foundations of its quiet existence. A union of an unthinkable nature had transpired, swiftly becoming the epicenter of local gossip and moral outcry. Arthur Brennan, a rancher accustomed to the rugged solitude of the plains and recently widowed, had taken a wife. Yet, this was no ordinary marriage. It was a deeply unconventional pairing that sent shockwaves through the tightly knit society. His bride was Sarah Hayes, a young woman who, by every societal standard, was considered his niece through the bonds of affinity, the orphaned kin of his late wife. The news spread with alarming speed, carried on the whispers of the wind and the hushed conversations in parlors, igniting a firestorm of condemnation that swept through the entire town. How could such a forbidden alliance come to be? What hidden motivations, what untold circumstances, could possibly compel two individuals to defy such ingrained conventions? The community, accustomed to the straightforward rhythms of frontier life, found itself in a state of profound bewilderment, struggling to reconcile this audacious act with their understanding of propriety and family ties. Every citizen, from the most devout churchgoer to the most pragmatic merchant, found themselves pondering the truth behind Arthur and Sarah's radical decision. This narrative invites you to step back in time and uncover the layers of this captivating scandal, to explore the intricate web of events that led to a marriage deemed utterly inappropriate by the standards of the era. There was no joy or belonging, only a deep void where her family should have been. Helena, a distant memory, offered no comfort. She carried little, save for a quiet desperation, a young woman cast into a world both indifferent and immense. The sprawling property, while a potential source of wealth for Arthur, felt overwhelmingly stark in its current state. Arthur Brennan, a man shaped by the harsh frontier, met her with a reserved, practical demeanor that mirrored the land itself. He saw not a vulnerable girl to be pitied, but a necessary solution to the relentless demands of his ranch. Its sheer scale and the void left by his wife's passing required constant upkeep, a burden too heavy for one man alone. Without a flicker of sentimentality, Arthur offered Sarah a roof over her head, simple meals, and, crucially, work. He framed it as a straightforward arrangement, shelter in exchange for labor to maintain his extensive property. His wisdom, honed by years of struggle against the elements, dictated this pragmatic approach. He needed help, and she, in turn, needed refuge. Thus began a peculiar relationship of mutual dependence on the dry Montana soil. Sarah, with nowhere else to go, accepted the offer, understanding the unspoken terms. She would contribute her labor, diligently applying herself to the tasks, and in return, gain a semblance of security, a temporary escape from the gnawing fear of destitution. Arthur, for his part, found himself increasingly reliant on her quiet presence and the steady rhythm of her newfound tasks. It was not a bond born of immediate happiness or deep affection, but rather a silent, growing understanding of shared necessity. The ranch, once a place of solitary work, slowly began to accommodate two distinct, yet now intertwined, lives. She managed the household, bringing order and warmth to austere rooms, and also assisted with livestock, even riding alongside Arthur. Her small frame held surprising inner strength, and her presence brought a subtle vitality, shifting the ranch's solitary atmosphere. Arthur, for his part, slowly unveiled a side of himself few had ever witnessed. Beneath his rugged exterior and laconic demeanor lay a reservoir of quiet kindness. His gestures were understated yet deeply meaningful, ensuring Sarah had sturdy boots, leaving a fresh-picked wildflower, or simply offering a nod of approval after a long day. He spoke little, but his actions communicated deep, unspoken respect for her efforts and spirit. He found himself anticipating her presence, a subtle warmth permeating the vast, lonely ranch whenever she was near. The Montana plains had long mirrored Arthur's isolation, but Sarah's quiet energy began to gently chip away at that solitude. Women abruptly hushed conversations as the pair passed, only to resume with renewed vigor and malicious whispers about impropriety once out of earshot. Men in the saloon lowered their voices, their eyes darting if Arthur entered, sometimes accompanied by Sarah. The very air in Helena thickened with unspoken judgment. This wasn't overt condemnation, but a pervasive atmosphere of unease and suspicion, a subtle yet powerful form of ostracization. The gossip, fueled by speculation and moral indignation, centered on themes of scandal and a perceived breach of decency, threatening the community's moral order. For Arthur, accustomed to the solitude and straightforwardness of ranch life, this public scrutiny was deeply unsettling. He had sought simple prosperity and the quiet happiness of his land, not public controversy that could undermine his family's well-being or potential for wealth. For Sarah, a quiet presence, the weight of these judgmental gazes was profound. The nascent contentment and quiet happiness she had found at the ranch were overshadowed by the community's palpable disapproval. This collective condemnation chipped away at her emerging security and sense of belonging. The pressure was no longer fleeting. It became a persistent, crushing weight, suggesting their unconventional existence, regardless of its innocence or necessity for their future well-being or the ranch's wealth, was a direct challenge to local wisdom. Their growing joy, found in mutual respect and shared labor, was under siege, forcing them to confront this stark reality. The whispers in Helena had transformed into a suffocating shroud, pressing down on Arthur and Sarah. Every public appearance met chilling disapproval, an unspoken condemnation threatening their very existence. This escalating social pressure jeopardized the foundation of their lives. For Arthur, his ranch, legacy, and livelihood began to falter as vital community connections frayed. They deliberated in long, quiet evenings, discussions marked by grim resolve, not romantic sentiment. The decision weighed heavily, a pragmatic calculation intertwined with subtle, unspoken affection. After much agonizing, a difficult choice solidified: to marry. This stark act of pragmatism, a legal shield against Helena's judgment, transformed scandalous whispers into undeniable fact. It was also a profound act of quiet defiance, a declaration of commitment to each other and their shared future, born of necessity and evolving into a unique happiness. They hoped this unconventional step would silence the rumors, securing their future and providing peace. A simple joy, hard-won contentment, now rested on this resolute choice. Their wisdom guided them to embrace this challenging path. A ceremonia msi estudo quietude e desafio, quasum segredo murmurdu. Neo aconteció nos celos sagrados de uma igreja, mas no escritorio simples e despretensioso de juiz de paz. Esse official, homem claramente sobrecarregado pela natureza em comum de seu pedido, cumpriu suas obrigações com uma relutância visível. Sua voz, geralmente firme, estava suave enquanto lia os votos que legalmente uniriam Arthur e Sarah. Neo havia convidados, nenhuma fanfara celebratoria, apenas os dois, sua determinação silenciosa palpável no pequeno comodo. Foi auto nascido do pragmatismo, uma necessidade desesperada de legitimar seu relacionamento aos olhos da lei, mesmo que não aos olhos da comunidade. Para eles, naquele momento, havia frágil senso de felicidade, uma declaração silenciosa de seu compromisso com futuro compartilhado. Uma alegria peculiar, misturada com apreensão, pairava sobre eles enquanto as palavras eram proferidas. Encontraram uma forma única de sabedoria ao enfrentar o mundo juntos, mesmo de maneira tão neoconvencional. No entanto, a ilusão de segredo duro pouco. Esse vínculo legal, destinado a lhes trazer paz, em vez disso, acendeu uma tempestade ainda mais feroz de condenação, marcando os irrevogavelmente como parias e cimentando seu isolamento em Helena. The hush ceremony was but a fleeting moment, yet its repercussions exploded throughout Helena with the force of a thunderclap. Ostracism became the stark new reality for Arthur and Sarah. News of their controversial union traveled fast, solidifying the community's judgment and marking them as pariahs. Simple necessities, once easily acquired, now came with an invisible toll. When Arthur ventured into town for supplies, merchants who had known him for years would suddenly find urgent tasks at the back of their shops, their backs turned in a silent, yet powerful, gesture of disapproval. There were no direct confrontations, no shouted accusations, just a pervasive, chilling avoidance that spoke volumes. Sarah, venturing out less frequently, encountered an even more pointed silence. Her hands, once accustomed to finer things, steadily grew strong and calloused, each blister a silent testament to her unflagging perseverance. She rapidly learned to mend fences, to skillfully herd cattle, and to plant and harvest with a surprising vigor that impressed even the stoic Arthur. Her presence was more than just helpful. It became indispensable, a vibrant and essential force that breathed tangible new life into the desolate expanse of their property. There was a quiet, deep strength in her, a resolute determination that seemed to mirror the immense vastness of the landscape surrounding them, reflecting its enduring spirit. Arthur, for his part, worked with a quiet, yet profoundly methodical determination, his solid presence a steady anchor in their shared world. He patiently taught Sarah the intricate wisdom of the land, sharing the practical knowledge accumulated over years of solitary toil. He showed her how to accurately read the nuanced signs of the weather, how to instinctively anticipate the specific needs of the livestock, and how to gently coax vital sustenance from the often stubborn earth. Their shared labor gradually became a silent, yet powerful language between them, a consistent rhythm that inextricably bound them together. Through countless long days under the relentless sun and equally numerous cold, star-filled nights, they toiled side by side, discovering a peculiar comfort and a burgeoning sense of happiness in their combined, tireless efforts. Through these shared sunrises and late nights, through the undeniable triumphs of a successful harvest and the occasional despair of a harsh winter storm, their core connection deepened significantly. It was not the passionate, storybook romance often depicted in novels, but rather a profound intertwining of two distinct lives, firmly bound by a shared, vital purpose and an undeniable, growing mutual respect. These seemingly insignificant acts represented a world of difference, reminding them that decency still existed. This trickle of understanding provided crucial emotional wealth, allowing a tiny seed of happiness to sprout amidst the hardship, offering a glimmer of hope that their path, though challenging, was not entirely solitary. Over time, the initial shock concerning Arthur and Sarah's unconventional union began its slow, imperceptible ebb in Helena, Montana. The seasons brought subtle shifts, softening the community's rigid stance. The Brennan Ranch, once a stage for their controversial story, now stood as a vibrant testament to their tireless dedication. Arthur's quiet strength and Sarah's innovative spirit transformed the land. Fields yielded richer harvests, and livestock thrived, demonstrating undeniable prosperity and growing wealth. This tangible evidence of their diligent work spoke a language even the most prejudiced found difficult to ignore. The ranch became a silent monument to their unwavering commitment, challenging preconceived notions of their union. Crucially, Sarah, with profound empathy, engaged in anonymous acts of charity. Without seeking recognition, she quietly left provisions like flour, medicine, or warm clothing on the doorsteps of Helena's struggling families. These thoughtful gestures, born from her innate compassion and deep wisdom gained through hardship, created a subtle, positive ripple. Recipients, though unaware of their benefactor, felt the impact of this unseen kindness, which slowly began to chip away at the harsh prejudice surrounding Sarah and Arthur. The pervasive whispers and judgmental stares that once followed them gradually diminished, replaced by a more nuanced, if cautious, observation from some townspeople. A few discerning citizens, less swayed by popular opinion and more by observed character, started to reconsider their initial judgments. They witnessed the couple's consistent integrity, unflagging work ethic, and quiet dignity in facing ostracism. The undeniable signs of the ranch's success, coupled with the subtle current of good deeds flowing through the town, began to paint a picture contradicting the scandalous narrative. The unwavering connection between Arthur and Sarah, built on mutual respect and shared endurance, radiated quiet strength. While full societal acceptance remained a distant dream, the diminishing rumors and nascent reconsideration brought a profound, if private, sense of joy and growing happiness to their isolated lives. Their quiet perseverance was slowly, yet surely, reshaping their world, one thoughtful act and prosperous season at a time. The relentless passage of time, an indifferent observer to human drama, eventually brought a subtle shift to the lives of Arthur and Sarah Brennan. It was not the kind of celebratory welcome bestowed upon conventionally approved unions, but rather a cessation of overt hostility, a nod of recognition for their hard work and steady presence. Shopkeepers no longer turned their backs, and while social invitations remained scarce, the venom in their neighbors' eyes had faded. Sarah's continued acts of anonymous charity, her quiet kindness extended to those in need regardless of their past judgment of her, played an immeasurable part in this slow thawing. Her innate wisdom, born from solitude and a deep empathy, allowed her to see beyond the surface of animosity and respond with grace. Arthur and Sarah had found a profound sense of peace within their unique circumstances. Their home, once a silent reminder of loss and a new, uneasy beginning, now resonated with a quiet joy that emanated from their steadfast companionship. The superficial trappings of societal approval had long ceased to matter to them. Their true measure of success lay in the profound happiness they found in each other's presence, the quiet contentment that blossomed in their shared lives. Their story, whispered less as a scandal and more as a remarkable tale of endurance, became a silent testament to the undeniable power of love and human resilience. It proved, without needing grand pronouncements, that prejudice, however deeply rooted, could eventually be eroded by the persistent authenticity of true affection. The true value of a union, they had shown the world through their very existence, lay not in the fleeting approval of others, but in the genuine connection shared between two souls, and the profound happiness and peace it fostered from within.